Hello, true crimerers. It is time for 3 minutes of true crime, and this is the case of Kristy Manzanares. Viewer discretion is advised. Kristy was a 39-year-old mother of 3 daughters. Her youngest was 12 and her oldest was 22, and she had been married to Kenneth for 17 years. And the family lived in Utah. In July of 2017, the family would take a cruise, specifically an Emerald Princess Alaskan cruise. By everyone's accounts, by the way, Kristy and Kenneth appeared to have a super loving and normal marriage. They had been high school sweethearts. But on the night of July 25th, 2017, while aboard the cruise, something horrible would happen. Kenneth and Kristy got into an argument in their cabin, and Kenneth basically yelled at his daughters to get out of the room while this is happening. So, not but a few minutes later, the girls start to hear screaming. And as a matter of fact, people who were about 2 decks below could hear screaming coming from this cabin. The girls managed to get to a balcony in order to look into the room, and they literally saw their father basically straddling their mom and beating her. Just a few minutes after all of this was happening, someone managed to get inside their cabin to see what the hell was going on, and they saw blood all over the walls, and they saw Kristy on the ground and just covered in blood, and her husband had blood all over his fists and his clothes. Kenneth reportedly said, "She wouldn't stop laughing at me." According to the witness who had gone inside the cabin, Kenneth had tried to drag her body to their balcony, possibly to throw the body overboard, but this witness who was there managed to grab Kristy's ankles and pull her back in so that he couldn't do it. And by this time, security had arrived, and they were able to, once the ship was able to be docked, the police got involved. Kenneth was arrested. According to their kids and what Kenneth has said, Kristy had they'd been arguing about possibly getting a divorce. And that caused Kenneth to become extremely angry and belligerent. So his response was to just beat her to death. And what makes it more horrifying is that their daughters saw it happen. Now, the ship was making announcements over the loudspeaker about an incident taking place. Oddly enough, that same night they were hosting a murder mystery dinner. So a lot of the guests thought that the whole thing was just part of the play they were doing. So there was a lot of confusion. Kenneth would end up going to trial and he would be convicted. He was sentenced to just 30 years in prison without parole, but he gets to get out.